Okay, so I had my eyes in place, and now I really need to work on sort of personalizing them and making sure the shapes are correct and that I'm actually happy with how they turned out. Now, the top of my eyelids are a little funky, so I'm going to go back and fix those some and um, really make sure I get my depths correct and a bunch of little tweaking to make sure everything's good. At this point, I'm going to use several tools. My favorites are some loop tools. So I might use the loop tools. I like a good pointy scrapey. Where's my camera? Pointy scrapey thing with a sharp edge. There are also these flat scrapey things that I like. And then also another thing that's really good is just these at the very end I probably bust out with these ones with a ball on the end because they're good for smoothing in small spaces. So that's where I'm at. Now, I'm also checking my sculpture, and if it's really dry, I will spend some time and I use a spray bottle and I'll spray it and I'll let that soak in. And so it's something like, I won't work on that area, but like say back here it's getting dry, I'm gonna just spray it and see how it's shiny. That will soak in and it will soften up my clay. I don't like to spray it and leave it like and then wrap it immediately, although that's what we have to do at school. But on my own, I will just spray, and you see how that soaks in. I don't let it pool down here on the bottom, but it'll soak in and it will soften up areas. I don't want to do that right now on the eyes, though, because I'm going to be working with some detailed stuff on them, and I want them to be a little bit harder than soft, because for me it's easier to sort of work on them that way. I have a little bit of clay always ready to roll, just a little nugget here that I work with to just like add little pieces here and there. When I'm tweaking, but right now what I'm going to be doing is just refining, and I'm like, ultimately, like, this is kind of the make or break situation. Like it may just so happen that I get really unhappy and I restart, but I try not to do that because we're on a time level here. So I'm just going back and I'm fixing small things. Now I'm looking to make sure that my eye is on this angle, right? And it's set back into the head. So so part of that is just pulling things back. So if you can see, I did some carving with my loop tool around the eye down here and pulling back. I have really deep tear troughs, they're called. So I work on pulling this back. I don't know what you can see. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Right, I have my picture here, so when I'm working I can look at it. I should be able to see that eyeball. Now this top lid is bothering me because it's way too like and my eyes are more gradually shaped around the top, so it has a little bit too much of a crease right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just roll a little bit of clay, put it right in there, come back with the tool, fill that in a little. Pull that in. I just squished my tear duct, so I'm gonna have to remake it. It's okay, it wasn't quite the right shape. This needs to be rounded a little more. So I'm rounding. And come back and fix that tear duct. That's where I like these rounder guys, these with the ball on the end. It's gonna really help me define that tear duct, because I'm gonna just come in with the small side and round that. It's a nice tear duct making tool. There we go, nice tear duct in there. I always want your tear duct. Duct. That's such a funny word. That's better. I just am uncomfortable. My stomach says it's lunchtime. And it's only 10:40. Aha, we're getting there now. You can see from the side there's that angle. My eye opening, right, is half the width. So I'm happy with that. Need to tweak some of this area here. It's all about the little changes now. I'm really just, and this is harder than when, like, I put it together, right? The other day I put it together, day 1, day 2, and now it's time for minor fixes. Now it's just those little tweaks that make the difference in the overall personalization. My eye, I have a lot of fat right here above my eye. So it's important that I, go back and add to that bulkiness right here from the side. But it's all about really just those minor, try to get this a little closer, minor personalization techniques, that I'm doing right now. So working on that. So some of you are not going to have as much area up here as I have, but I have a lot of eye fat in my top lid and not a lot underneath my lid. So that's kind of the bane of my existence, so just so you know. So now I gotta work on making this eye even, right? Because you can see the lid is in the wrong spot, and this eye is further out, so I need to add some of that roundness that I added to this eye by getting in here and pulling back in some of that round. They're gonna have to build the bridge of the nose out once I get to that point. I'm aware that it's funky there, so you know. No. Look from the side. Kind of get that roundedness. Again, the side looks a little funky to me, so I'm going to add a little bit underneath there to make that shape a little bit closer to what I see up there on my eyes. I'm constantly looking at my picture up there, and I'm trying to match that shape. It's like minor adjustments on the shape of the opening of the eye, remembering that it's half, the opening of the eye is half the length of the eye. But some of the really small changes I make here on the size of the opening of the eye or the shape of the opening of the eye are really the personalizations that make it unique or best fit what my face looks like. And I'm trying to also like make one eye match the other eye. Like, there is no absolute doubt in the world that this is not an easy task, right? Eyes are a little tricky, but like if we keep playing with them over and over again, at some point we just get into a hole where you mess them up. So realize I'm gonna do this, and although I really want to, like, my instinct is to start over again and again and again when I see something wrong, I am going to push through and just work with what I have and make sure that I'm fixing as I'm going, I'm improving. So it doesn't mean that once I go onto the nose that I don't come back and go, oh, well, I noticed that and I'm going to fix that a little bit. Like, that's going to happen as long as I don't like get too far away and really mess it up. So I'm going to add a little bit more clay here because this is not in the right line. And then I'm probably going to take a break. And, well, I have to go to my next class in a few minutes here, but I need that to sit up again. I mean, it's going to need to be sculpted down, but I needed to add more to that. Eye line there. And so now they're looking close to each other. I would definitely say like this one's higher than that one. There's some issues, you know, like I'm not perfect, but every time I do it I get a little bit better. But you know, at the same time, like at some point you have to just be like, okay, that was an improvement over my last time and I'm gonna move on. So I'm feeling pretty happy-ish with where these are at this point, and I am going to bag it and come back and look at it later, and then move on to working on the nose. Compared to eyes, noses are so much easier. So, boop, boop.